Hey y'all, my name's Abbie Gandy, and today I'm going to be doing a little devotional for you guys. Um, and so it has a little backstory. I'd been struggling with a lot of doubt and uncertainty, recently, just letting my thoughts and feelings just kind of get the best of me. Um, and I was going through this little memory box I have, which is full of just notes from people and just random stuff. Um, and I found this one note that didn't have anybody's name on it. I don't know who wrote this to me, but it was clear when I read it that God wanted me to read it, and it was just Bible verses. It was 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16 through 18. So I kind of want to go through each of those verses one by one. So in verse 16 it says, "Therefore we do not lose heart, though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." And, I was kind of reminded of the fact that God is continually renewing my spirit, And that's in a process we know it's called sanctification. God is continually, perfecting us in a way. He's continually making us more like Jesus, As it starts with salvation, but then, through His forgiveness, His grace, and all this stuff, we work toward being more like Christ. And when I read that, I was reminded of what David says in Psalm 51:10. He says, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." And that's kind of what I had been struggling with. I was like, I need to be renewed, I guess. I just felt so weighed down. And then I read that and I was like, man, God is still renewing me, I don't have to have it all together. I'm not ever going to have it all together. But I know that God is still working in me, And on in verse 17 it says, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." And I know a lot of times our troubles seem anything but light and momentary. You can think of the situation today, a situation in the past, any kind of situation. It can feel like your trouble is the heaviest burden you've ever carried in your life. And sometimes it feels like troubles keep stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. You just feel like you can't catch a break. And you're like, can I get 2 seconds? Just 2, where nothing bad happens, no troubles happen. Can I please, just 2 seconds? But our troubles are ultimately achieving for us, eternity, which outweighs all of this we go through on here, on this earth. The sufferings we experience on here, on this earth, grow us spiritually. It produces endurance and perseverance, It strengthens our faith. And when we get to heaven, Jesus rewards us with eternal glory. Our sufferings are not in vain. We get to be in Jesus' presence. We get to talk to Jesus and laugh with Jesus and hug Jesus and praise Jesus and all this stuff forever and never get tired of it, We're going to be glorified, and everything down here, none of that's going to matter anymore. Because we're going to be in the most perfect place that will have ever existed. And we're never going to leave it, We're going to be there forever. And so it goes on in verse 18 to say, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." And I was really reminded of Peter whenever I read this. In Luke 14, there's a part Jesus is walking on the water. And Peter goes out to him And at first, Peter's walking too. He's walking on the water. And then he looks at the waves and the storm around him, and that's when he starts to sink. That happens to a lot of us. We look at what's going on around us, at the waves crashing down, at the storm that's all around us, and we get scared. We're like, oh my gosh. We're focusing on all this stuff, and it feels like we're drowning. It feels like there's no way out, and there's no hope. But when we fix our eyes on what is unseen, on what is eternal, which is Jesus, then we find the hope that we're looking for. Because we know that Jesus is the solid rock on which we stand. We know that he is never going to leave us, and he is never going to forsake us. And when you have that eternal mindset, everything down here, it'll get scary. It might suck, to be honest. But ultimately, you're going to get to be in eternity with Jesus. And he's never going to go. He's always going to be there. And so I was just reminded, that this earth is not my home. Eternity is my heaven, eternity, all that. That is what I was created for. When I cross the finish line of this marathon of life, I will be in Jesus' presence forever. And I will run and never grow tired. There will be no more suffering. Everything I went through down on this earth, it's not going to matter anymore. Because I'm going to be glorified. I'm going to feel the best I've ever felt in my life. So that's a nice reminder, to not lose heart. Whatever's going on right now, it is temporary. And Jesus sees you, and you're not going through it alone. He hears you, he sees you, and he carries this with you. So just keep on trucking. That's what I gotta tell you. Keep on going. Because this is achieving for us eternity, glorified eternity, and that outweighs everything that could ever happen down here. So yeah. Keep thinking about Jesus. He's got you, I promise. He promises. Have a nice day.